Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to look at the third JavaScript type. We've looked at numbers, we've looked at strings. We're going to talk about Booleans now, spelled Booleans. And I've created a file for it. I called it bool_comp.js. So I'll quickly type here so that when I want to run, I'll just hit my up arrow bar on the keyboard and I enter. I'll run bool_comp.js. It's not going to. Okay, let's continue. When we talk about booleans, and in this class we are also going to talk about comparison operators, which are used to compare two things, whether two strings or two numbers or whatever it may be. We use comparison operators to compare two things. Talking about boolean expressions, boolean expression is just about true or false. That means the expression is either true or false. That is what Boolean expression is about. I'll give an instance. We are trying to make an app that will check the age of someone, whether the person is eligible to vote or not. And you know, in most countries, the age to be eligible to vote is 18. Okay, let's say by default, the age to be eligible to vote is false. We can declare let is eligible be false. Now you can see that this was written like a string, but we didn't put in single quote or double quote because for Boolean we're just talking about true or false. So when we run this as like it is, remember console.log is used to print something on the screen, is eligible. Let's run this and we see. Okay, you can see we've gotten false. By default in this app, we have declared that the person is not up to the age, which is 18. Okay, which means we can also declare that by default it is true. And we run that, let's see what happens. True. That means if we type any other thing here, it is not a Boolean expression. Boolean expression is all about true or false. We can also use comparison operators to check whether something is true or not. When it is true, it should print true. When it is false, it should print false. Okay, I'll give another example. Let age be equal to 20. That means the person is eligible to vote. And then let's declare this. I'll comment this out. Let's declare that is eligible is equal to age equal to 20. Now we want to check if the person is eligible to vote. Now what we've done here is this. We've declared something called is eligible, and then we want to compare this value stored here with this. This is a comparison operator rather. What this does is that it checks the value that is stored here and it compares it with the value which is stored here and it prints it out. If it is true, we get true. If it is false, we get false. So let's console.log that. Console.log is eligible. If we save this and run it, we get true. That is because the age which is stored here is the same with this. Let's change this to 21. What do we get? False, because the age which is stored here is not the same as this. We get false. In other words, if we change this to not equal to, that means this age is not equal to this. Now we're going to get a true because the age is not equal. If we put 20, we run this, we get a false. Remember, before I run, I will always save. So I've already given us two operators. We have the equal to. I'll just put here. This is one that is used with the triple equal sign. Why I've given equal value and type, you'll understand in a moment. This is the first one where we check. I've given this one This will give true. I'll just copy this. I'll comment it out so we don't get an error when we declare age twice. I'll paste here. I'll call this number 2 not equal value and type. I've explained this. Not equal value and type. In this case, we are going to get a true because this is not equal. If we use 20, whatever we use which is not the value of this here is going to give an error. I'll comment this out. It's already copied. I'll paste here again. I'll call this 3 greater than, which is this sign. Let the age be this. We want to check if the age is greater than 20. We're going to get an error because the age is equal to 20. We see that. You see, it's not an error. We get a false because the age is greater than 20. If we put 19, that means the age is greater than 19. We're going to get true because if we put something below, whatever we put below 20, we'll get true. We change this to 100 and we get false. Still copied. I'll paste again here. This is number 4. Less than. It is similar to greater than, but in this case, let me comment this out. I'll explain something. I won't comment this out and I will do something. You see, we'll get an error. I've explained this before, but you can see we get an error. What is the error? Identifier age has already been declared. We declared age here and here. So we're going to get errors. Even if we correct this, we are still going to get another one because this has been declared as well. So I'll comment this out as well. Coming to this, age is less than this. What is the age? 20. 20 less than 20, false. I'll save this and I'll run. What should be? Let's put 30 here. And we'll get through because, sorry about that, we will get a false because 30 is less than, correct. Okay. Age is declared as 30, is eligible. Age 30 less than 20, which is false because 30 is greater than 20. That's why we get an error here. If we replace this with 10, 10 is less than 20, we'll get through. This is what the comparison operator for less than. Another one we're going to talk about, which is the 5th one, is greater than or equal to. So I'll comment this out and I'll paste what we have here where we've been working with this. But we're going to replace this with greater than or equal to. Is 20 greater than or equal to 20? 20 is equal to 20. So this is going to run. That means we're going to get, that means we're going to get through when we run this. Okay, back to our code. Let's replace this with 21. Is 21 greater than or equal to 20? It is greater than 20. So we're going to get through when we run. If this is 19, is 19 greater than or equal to 20? No. So we're going to get a false when we run this program. You can see we've got the false. That is what this does. The next one is, this video is getting rather long, but I think this will be the longest video we're going to have. I'll try to make others shorter. I just want you to understand the concept. The next one is less than or equal to, which is less than. It is similar to this other one, the greater than or equal to, but in reverse. I'll comment this out so we don't run into that error, and I'll replace this with less than here. This is going to give truth because 20 is equal to 20. So if we run this, we get through. But if we replace this 20 with, let's say, 210, is 210 less than or equal to 20? No, so we are going to get a false when we run this program. As we can see, we've looked at various operators. Let's put 10 here and see. We'll get through because 10 is less than 20. But in this case, when we add the equal sign as well, it means that the value we are checking is also part of what we want to compare. I'll also give us 2, which is, you may not see us use most of them, but I'll put that equal and not equal. Now you ask a question, what is the difference between this first one with 3 signs and this one with 2 signs? I'll explain. I'll comment this out and I'll paste here as well. I remove one of these. What happens? We are going to, is age equal to 20? Yes. We'll get through when we run this. We've gotten through. And if we put this, if we convert this to a string, for instance, it is a string, and we save and we run, we're still going to get through because of the fact that this is 20 checking this. It is just checking the value. It is not checking the data type. If we put triple equal to here, this is, if we hover, we see it is a string. And if we hover on this, this is, as we can see, it is an integer. That means different data type. Let's run and see. You see, we've gotten false. Why is it so? Because we are trying to compare a string and an integer. That means they are not of the same data type. It has resulted in an error. So it is the difference between double equal and triple equal sign. It is the same with this. The double equal sign will only check the values, while triple sign will check both data type, and this will result in, okay, I did not comment this out, so I'll do that right away. I'll run again. True. What has happened is that I replaced this not equal sign. We've got false because age is not equal to 20, but you can see it is a string and this is an integer. I put 10. What do we get? True. It is not checking the data type like I've explained. It is just checking the values, while this other one will check the data type and the value. I believe now you've understood what this is about, but in most cases we're going to be using this often. We will hardly use this unless necessary. So our challenge for this course is going to be this. We've been given some values here. Now what you're going to do is this. You look at it and you think and you ask yourself, if you run this code, this will be more of thinking. If you run this code, is it going to be true or false? I give an instance with this second one. This is going to result to false because even though we're checking they are the same and we're checking the same data type, they are both strings, but you can see that this begins with capital letter and this begins with small letter. So this is the challenge. You check and you see if I have indicated whether this is equal challenge or not equal. So you know what you're doing. You check and see if you're going to get a true or false. After you're done checking, you can pause the video from here. You check if it will result in true or false. You can take a piece of paper and you write the answer. After you are done, you pause the video and then you check the solution. You can pause the video now. Okay, I believe you've done well and you did what you were supposed to do without looking for the solution somewhere or writing the code to check the answer first. Now, for what we've done, these are the solutions. You check and you compare whether you got the answer as it is here. If you got it correctly, congratulations, you have passed this challenge and then you are ready for the next class.